Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video of the journey? Who knows? It's not a reading exercise. That I'll save for the weekday, because those are short and easy, and, well, it saves me time and energy from after work, and then I do this. So, today's video is not going to be a reading, and as I mentioned in some video, I can't remember which one, that I said we're going to change up the content. So, obviously, I've been doing that all week with reading exercises. I've been reading, hold on, let me pull it up right now. Aesop's Fables. We still have a number of fables to go through. And, but I also said I was going to do stuff like character practice. Hold on, this book won't get the hell out of the way. I said I was going to do some like character practices, doing some reading, doing some writing, even though we did the reading. We're going to do some improv stuff that I have characters for that I've yet to act out or perform. I'll save that for you guys. I hope you like it for the future. And today's video is going to be similar to that fashion of what we're going to do. In that case is we're going to be doing something I mentioned in, I think it was my warm-ups and cooldowns video that I was taught in both my classes, was to help write your own characters or to help yourself get into a character, to get the feeling, the mindset of a character, is just think about yourself, think about what others are going through or why they act like that or why you act the way you do in a certain situation, whether you're mad, sad, glad, big bad Vlad, sorry to rhyme. Anyways, so in that case, for my first set of classes with Mr. Steve Bloom, he said one of the things was to write down things that you liked, and if you want, why. I got into it because I just did it because I like writing, so I was just like, screw it, let's go. And that gave me the idea. It was just like, let's just write stuff that I know of, but let's just express it. Why? So in that case, I wrote this, and I was reading it the other day because I was bored, and I was like, I need to update this, which we will update in this video. Oh my god, that is blinding. Where am I? Alright, so as you can tell, folks, this is my top 10 games of all time. Now, there is going to be a change to this. Specifically, this is going to change, and this is going to be removed. And I'm going to add in here. I don't know why I'm telling you. You're going to see it. So, why are we doing this? Well, it helps me, helps you, helps me. And what I mean by that is, this will, show that, how do I put this? This was me just writing. I was like, I've always said I'm a big gamer. I've been playing since I was 4 years old. It's true. Look at all this. So actually, don't screw it. Look, I'll be reading it soon. But I've always said that, and I was just like, why? And not only that, what were my favorite games or my top 10? I always said my top 3, which are, you can see I wrote expressively right here, 1, 2, 3. But then I go short for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Blah, blah, blah. But, why am I reading this to you guys? As I already said it earlier, was to show just to see how expressive you can be. Like, just think of, if you think of yourself as someone who is not very expressive or can't find, as cheesy as this sounds or as corny or as pointless as it may be, is finding a deeper meaning to your connection to something or whatever that case may be. Just think of why you like something. Say you like painting. Why do you like painting? Is it to express yourself? Is it just, you just want to diddle doodle doddle? That's what I do sometimes. You've seen in my notebook, I have horrible drawings. And that's what we're going to do. That's the purpose of these videos, is to find out about ourselves. And sometimes we may get in depth to being like, why do I feel the way that I want to punch a hole through this wall sometimes when XYZ says you're a stinky poo-poo head, or something along the lines of that. Or why is something so trivial making me so very angry to the point that, like, I'm getting a headache, a migraine, and I feel like if I say any more, a blood vessel's going to burst in my brain, I'm going to pass out. So, let's start simple with this. Why is it simple? Well, because I've said it before. I've played games since I was 4 years old. This is easy enough for me. And to me, this is also kind of fun. Being able to write and express. I use writing as a form of expression. I have a hard time articulating my thoughts and our words, as you've probably seen even now in this video. And writing helps me immensely. And I love to write. I started writing 10 years ago. As you know, I wrote a book. Is it good? No, I don't care. I had fun writing it, and I thought people would. Excuse me. And, this is personal. Gets you a little insight into who the ding dong is. But, it's, that does kind of bug me because I'm a very private person. I do not like to share with people a lot about who I am unless you're like my friends and my close circle of people whom I trust. But I feel like to get to know me, I need to be open and vulnerable to get a better understanding of who I am. And what better way is to share it with you folks out here. I'm pretty sure most of you guys who will be watching this in the future, if this ever gets big enough, you'll be like, wow, he played this game, he did that game, blah, 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 blah. And it's just there to, start off with this this part of the content that we're going to go for. So I'm going to stop jibber-jabbering and let's just get right into it. So before I do start, I will read off the page. You probably already read this entire page because you're probably fast readers. Good for you. I will obviously ad-lib and improvise, or I may go in-depth more. Or I may even act out a bit or two just for my own fun. But without further ado, let me get a sip of water and let us get into it. Okay. I have mentioned in the past that I am, or rather was, let's nix that because I was being Mr. Self-Righteous thing. I don't play games anymore. No, I still do. So, here, get rid of that. There we go. Issue resolved. So, I have mentioned in the past that I am an avid gamer. I can't say that. Get rid of that goddamn sentence. Whatever, I'll just leave it. So, I can't say that much anymore because I play for about an hour, then I get bored. However, I can still call myself a gamer because I've been playing video games since I was 4 years old. I started off on a Sega Genesis that my dad had. I can't remember how we got it. I think it was just his when he was a kid or growing up. And as well as a Nintendo 64, which, again, I had no idea. It's just me and my sister, we played it together. So many amazing games I've played, as well as stories to entertain me. And from it blossomed games and consoles from the PS2, PS3, and PS4, as well as the Xbox 360, the Xbox One, the Series X, which I still have in use, and finally the GameCube, the Wii, DS, 3DS, and Switch. So, I could do an entire monologue on just my adventures in the world of video games, but we'd be here for a long while. And not only that, I don't know where to start, where to go, because, like I said, I've been playing since 4, so, there's so much I probably left out. So, today's topic, though, will be about my 3 favorite video games of all time. We're going to start off by stating that these are in order, and my list has changed here and there, but for the most part, most titles have stayed. Without further ado, let me begin. Number 3. This game is part of a series that originated on the Xbox and is a flagship series for the console and company. It gained mass appeal worldwide popularity due to its impactful story and wicked online PvP. The game I speak of is Halo 3. Quite an odd choice as its previous installment Halo 2 was, or is still hailed as the best, and its future installment, Halo Reach, was considered the king of the series. I could be wrong, but I always know that, from what I know, is Halo 2 was considered the best, because I'm pretty sure it was the first one with online multiplayer with Xbox Live, and it dominated. And then Halo Reach came out many years later. I didn't like it at first, but it grew on me. Probably did a lot of people too. But, it's considered one of the best too. It's like those two butt heads. So, why Halo 3 out of all the Halo games? We'll start right here. Halo 3 stands out from the rest because I don't know why I put this in quotes, a rocky relationship, so to speak, with the game. I got Halo 3 on release date as a surprise from my dad. I remember it like it was yesterday. I still do, because I remember I was all sad knowing the game came out and I couldn't get it because, I was 11 years old, and at the time, I think that's when the Canadian government, or the ESRG, said, no more, if a game is rated M, someone who is 18 or older must be present for a minor to get the game, which sucked. Sorry, I couldn't get it because I was 11. I didn't have a job. I was in elementary school, and like I said, the game was rated M. However, thanks to my awesome dad, I got the game on release date, and not only that, he got me the Heroic Edition, which came with a thick steel case sheathed in a slick, translucent shield with the iconic Halo symbol, and in the middle of that Halo symbol was the number 3, implicating Halo 3. Duh. It also had many bonus content because of pre-order as well as Heroic Edition. I was eating good. I played the crap out of the story and messed around in the Forge, and later that Christmas, when I got Xbox Live for the first time, I played many games as well as Halo 3 multiplayer. Oddly enough, that is where my relationship became a little rocky with the game. On initial play of online, I thought the game sucked. Maybe because I knew that the online and maybe because I was new to the online, like in general, Xbox Live and all that jazz. I was just like, well, what does this do? Sorry. Just highlight that. And the first game that I ever played online ever was Call of Duty Modern Warfare, World at War. Another favorite of mine. And that game spoiled me rotten. So on top of Call of Duty spoiling me, there was also this to boot. Everyone in my school, in my classroom, in my class and the other class, which was the French class, I was in it because I left the French class because I was not doing good. Everyone I hung out with at school and on my street, they loved Halo. And I love Halo too. I still do. Or I still did at the time. But I didn't understand why they were praising the multiplayer. I thought it was kind of whatever. So they would praise it and they bugged me to play because I was the only person at the time who had it. And it was just like, I don't want to play this, but you know what? Fine, whatever. I pushed back by saying, no, it's poo-poo like the immature 12-year-old I became. However, later that summer, I randomly felt the urge to, try giving it a second chance, and I finally succumbed to its charm. Now, I could end that on that note, but there is another reason why I love this game so much, and it's for two reasons that go hand in hand. I love the story of it. I don't know the reception of the story, but I didn't, and I still don't care. I enjoyed it. I have replayed it many times, and I would still go back to it to this day. Every year, at least once a year, there's two game series that are on the Xbox that I always want to play through all over again. It's the Gears of War series and the Halo series. Oh, both great series. Should play them if you never have. The other reason why I enjoyed this story so much was because Halo 3 was the first game I ever beat. Not in general, because I beat the first one, obviously, but it was the first one I ever beat on the Legendary, which is the hardest difficulty. And I didn't do it alone. My childhood friend, so when I moved to this house when I was 5, literally day one I moved here, the guy who used to live across the street from me, literally came over and was like, hey, my name is so-and-so. I see you're moving in. You want to hang out? I said, sure. And we became real good friends. Like, to this day, I still talk to him, despite the fact that he moved away. We're still, like, the best of friends. And so I played the story with my childhood friend, who's an even bigger game enthusiast than me, and we joined in on the hellish fun that we had together. We spent hours running in and dying like a bunch of dumbass fools, only to have to repeat the same checkpoint until the game said, screw it, you passed. Not only that, but we also collected all the hidden skulls throughout the campaign, and if you know how hard that one specific skull is on the 7th mission, then you know what I'm talking about, and you know how annoying that was on the Legendary difficulty. I'm not going to explain it. It's a little long. If you know, you know. You don't, I prompt you to look it up. So when we thought we beat the game, usually you get bonus content for beating the game, but we didn't get anything. We're like, what the hell happened? So, and we looked over everything. It's like, oh, you missed the prologue, which was a cinematic for some reason. So the problem was, when you're a kid, you neglect your stuff you have. Me, I used to collect. I put my disc. Let's just say this was like my 360. I'd put the discs on top, let the dust settle. I would grab it like a slobber child and go, let's go here. It was not good. I was not maintaining the care that my stuff properly deserved. So my disc got really scratched up, and I couldn't play the prologue or the first mission. It would like go to a black screen, then it would be frozen, and I had to hit the open tray, and then that's it. I couldn't do it. I closed if I wanted to play again. Couldn't do it. So obviously, we didn't technically beat the game. My friend and I were reasonably and notably upset. So Amidst our dismay, or our disapproval, or upsetness, or whatever the hell, I can't think of the word I had and I lost it. My friend said, "Screw it, let's go to Blockbuster." That's a flashback. There used to be one right by my house. Let's go get a new copy and finish this. We both had $20, and the game was like $35 at the time. Because, after a game comes out after a year, its value diminishes, like most things. So when we got it, we're walking back to my place, and, I was just, looking at it like, wow, look at the case, look at the cover, because I never had the real case. I had the steel box, which was different. There was no back cover or anything. It was just the steel case with, like, the disc holder plus the papers with the codes, which I used. So when we were starting to walk back, I noticed that the case, it was all in French. And you'd see, parentheses, Canada, baby, because French is the second language of Canada. Bonjour, comment ça va? I can speak a little bit. Can't remember much. So my friend thought there was a typo or an error and said not to worry about it. I cannot emphasize this. Oh, how wrong he was. The game was entirely in French. We could not change it from English to French. The only thing we could do was put English subtitles. So we were like, what the frig do we do? Do we just go back, return it, or no? He said, you know what, Matt? I won't let you pay the game or pay my half of the game. You can keep it. I said, okay, sure, whatever. We said, screw it. Let's beat it. We got that beloved blunk achievement noise you got on the 360 or even now on the current Xbox series. And boom, we beat it. So the series of Halo is completely different from what it once was, and that's due to the fact the original developer of the game, Bungie, ended their Halo saga after Halo Reach. And the series was brought back by another developer that go by 343 Industries, which they've now renamed to, I think it's the Halo Devs. I can't remember. I have played through Halo 4, 5, and, a little bit of 6. Like, I did the prologue, and I was kind of falling asleep, because... And they don't hit as hard as the originals. But I guess that's due to the fact that I was satisfied with the way Halo ended after Halo 3 and Reach, and I felt that the series didn't need to come back. If it ended, it ended. Don't need to resurrect it like some weird Frankenstein monster. But people are free to do whatever they want. I can't say anything to stop them, nor will I. That ran on a lot longer than it was, so I do apologize. Number 2, I'm going to speed this up. My number 2 favorite game is part of a series that spawned many games under the same name, but it was subtitled differently. I'm obviously wording this wrong, indicating where in the game's world the story will take place. The game came out on possibly one of the greatest release dates of all time. The game in question is The Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Now, unlike my last entry, I'll try to keep this brief. I will. Because the game itself, I could go on forever, because it's so damn big. On November 11th, on the 11th month of the 11th day of the year 2011, release date of the game, you see what I mean? Skyrim was released and shook the RPG world as a whole. Jesus Christ, I'm stroking out. Developer Bethesda cracked the code with their previous games of Morrowind and Oblivion, but from those two masterpieces came their magnum opus, Skyrim. I got Skyrim for Christmas in 2011, but I didn't play it until the new year. I jumped in and I immediately fell in love with the game. I cannot express how crazy, addicted. It was like an adrenaline junkie, kind of like, oh my god. My first playthrough of the game was so bad that looking back, it just, I don't know how it worked, but it worked. I first started off as a generic sword-swinging Argonian, or as I put, lizard man, then switched it up to magic so I could, blast, freeze, and shock my enemies, essentially vaporizing them. I think near the end I did a mix of both, becoming a battle mage. Essentially, I was Gandalf. For the entire month of January 2012, I played the game. My routine was simple. On school days, I'd wake up, go to school, come home, do homework, played Skyrim. It was like that for an entire month. Weekends were a little different. Wake up, eat, do chores, Skyrim bed. After doing what I thought was everything, I grew bored and stopped playing the game and eventually sold that at EB Games. There's another flashback. They don't exist no more. It's GameStop. A couple of years later, they released DLC content, and eventually a Game of the Year edition came out, which is, all the bonus content plus the game itself, which is awesome. So I got that a week later, redid the whole cycle all over again. The DLC, man, was awesome. You killed vampires, you fight the first Dragonborn, built your houses around the world, plus I think it was a bunch of miscellaneous stuff they added here and there. So after doing what I thought was everything with the game, and eventually I went on to the next console, which was at the time the Xbox One. And sadly, there was no backwards compatibility when Xbox brought that. so I couldn't play it, but that was until they remastered it in 2016. And when they did, it had been quite a long time since I played Skyrim, and I was really itching to play it again, or at least a decent RPG of that caliber. So when it came out, I bought it day one, played the ever-living schnitzel out of it. I sunk another 100 plus hours into the game, and again I fell in love over and over. With the 2016 remaster, I did everything, and I mean I did everything. I got every achievement. I killed a legendary dragon. I fought the Ebony Knight. I acquired all 13 Digic artifacts. I collected all the shouts, or learned them, became the leader of the Thieves Guild, and restored it to its glory. I was the Mage of Winterhold. I became the leader of the Dark Brotherhood, a general in the Imperial Army, and head of the Mages of the Winterhold, as well as the leader of the Companions. I forgot that. Sorry. I did it all, and honestly, I would do it all over again. There is so much that this game offers, and I've probably put in around 500 plus hours through 3 different playthroughs. That's not including my playthroughs I've done on Steam, which is very little, but I still did a decent amount on Steam. This is such an amazing game and series as a whole, and I love it. It's like my number one game. I just go back to it. Now you're probably wondering, Matt, number 3 was basically 2 pages. Number 2 was a full page. How come your number 1 is like 3/4 of a page? Do you not like it that much, or is there too much to say? Well, let's get into it. Number 1, the last game in my number 1 favorite game of all time. This game is one of Nintendo's flagship series and has touched the hearts and minds of millions. It is a grand adventure of good triumphing over evil. In every iteration, that is how it always plays out, and every player knows it, but they still play it knowing damn well that they will have the greatest time of their life. This is a bit of a cliche. This is a number 1 game for a lot of people, and I don't care. My number 1 favorite game of all time is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I cannot fully express how much I love this game series as a whole. There's so much about it that makes me so happy to have experienced everything that I've ever done for it, or in it. I love it so much that I replay this game multiple times a year, and not just this game, but the other games in the series. Ocarina of Time is my number 1 in all the Zelda series. Number 2, very close, and it always butts heads with it, is Twilight Princess. That game is it's basically Ocarina of Time on crack. Then obviously there's your number 3, the beautifully orchestrated story that is the masterpiece that is Majora's Mask. That game is incredible. All 3 of these in their own way are amazing. They are the same yet they're different, which is awesome because it's like it still has the same core mechanics, but the stories are different. The gameplay is a little different. The characters you interact with, obviously, it's kind of, I'm not going to say anymore because I can't probably word. I'm not going to waste your time. So they all play similar to each other, but each with their own unique gimmicks, characters, weapons, ways of fighting, not really. The only reason why Ocarina of Time is the top for me is because I played it first, and it has created a brand in my mind for being so unfathomably amazing. It's a story so basic, like, go to temples or areas where evil lurks, eradicate the evil, and free the lands one by one until there's one left, the big bad Ganondorf. Yet in it, you feel like a courageous badass wielding the sword of all swords, the Master Sword. And you utilize it to vanquish the foes of evil, bringing forth peace and prosperity. And not only that, you are granted one of the coolest titles of anything in any form of media. You're not just the hero, you are the hero of time. That's pretty fucking cool. Excuse the swearing. I love this game so much that when I was a kid, I'm not joking, I actually wanted to be Link. I remember I was a kid, I was like, what happens if I wake up tomorrow and I'm an elf guy wearing a green tunic and a sword? I wasn't in the world of Zelda, I was just Link in modern times, so I was just like, Obviously I would just stand out like a weirdo. I love this game so much that it was probably the first fantasy game that I've ever played that I know of, and it has made me love all subsequent fantasy games that have come after later in my life. Like Wingus and Dingus over here. I love this game so much that when I hear this game's, the main menu of the piano as you ride off an Epona going, I get goosebumps. My hairs stand up, and sometimes I cry. I am not joking. I've actually gotten tears. I'm like, why am I crying? Why? Now you're probably thinking, all right, that's it. The idiot's finally done. No. So, Now that you know what my top 3 games are, you're probably wondering, or I feel like some people are out there like thinking, well, what are the other games? If you had top 10, but you only mentioned the 1 through 3, what would 4 be 5? What would 4 through 10 be? Rest assured, my friends, I will give you it here with very brief reasoning. Some may be self-explanatory. I'm not going to type it because, for the sake of time, I'm just going to say where and what is going. Number 4, this is staying. Pokemon Soul Silver Heart Gold. Initially, I could do the original, but I didn't play the original because I didn't have the Game Boy Advance or SP at the time. And when I did finally get it, I skipped Gen 2, which was a big mistake on my behalf. So, I grew up watching both Pokemon and Digimon, but Digimon didn't really have many games to my knowledge, and Pokemon did. Everyone knows the Pokemon games. They solidified themselves through generations and generations, as well as just changed the hearts and minds alike of everyone. You're probably wondering, out of what? I think there's 9 series or 9 generations of games. Why Soul Silver or Heart Gold? Well, simple. The story was awesome. You had 2 regions. If there's Gen 1, you had the busted-ass Psychic type who was weak to Bug. It's like, there's only 3 Bug types in the first game. Who cares? New Dark type, which, countered that. The Amazing Elite Four, the Red Fight, where you fight your own character from the first game, was just awesome. That music, especially on Mount Silver when it's just snowing, he's just there like, so you've come. And just so many new awesome Pokemon that came into that game, like Heracross and Caesar, his evolved form Caesar, like, whoo. What else? And in typical Pokemon fashion, all the battles in every Pokemon game, they're fun, but for this game, it just felt like they cranked it. Even with the remaster of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it was just, better fitted for the DS, which is nice. Now, this is where the change up. I'm going to read it, but this is changing to number 7. So, Call of Duty World at War. Yes, I know, you're saying, this motherfucker's, one of his favorite games is a Call of Duty? Yes, and I don't care. There's so many Call of Duties, but World at War stands out because it was the first card I ever played, and it was the first game I ever played online, ever. I love the World War... Oh, I can't use that word. That'll give me a big no-no. I love the World War II setting, the gore and the gib factor making it so realistic for a 2008 game. The only closest thing you got was Gears of War or Killzone. There were probably other games, but or Halo was rated M, but what was there? Blood and shooting. Ooh. Zombies, which had a different name, but we can't use that word no more. The awesome story filled with history, which is not historically accurate, but, And honestly, every gun you use in that game, in both the campaign, the online, or the zombies, they were all enjoyable, they were all useful, they were all, felt like it didn't matter what your class was. Unlike these new Call of Duties where, it's like, okay, we have 6 assault rifles, only 2 are good, 3 are okay, and there's 1 that just blows ass. Don't use it. It's like, well, thanks. This is being moved to number 7. But when we get to number 7, I'm just going to nix this. Here, let's get rid of it right now. We'll just do this. Get out of here. Initially, my number 7 was Kingdom Hearts 2. Looking back or really contemplating on it, I did like... oops. What the hell? I did like Kingdom Hearts a lot, but I only have replayed it a couple times. So... That's number 5, we're going to leave blank. We're going to go on to number 6. When we get to number 7, we're going to leave it until we get to the end. Sorry. Number 6, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I have played all the Soulsborne games except for Demon Souls. I have loved and enjoyed every single one of them. But Sekiro stands out because it is uniquely different from the rest. Yes, it follows its Jesus, my throat is dry. Yes, it follows its predecessors with its difficulty, but the combat is extremely and immensely satisfying. I'm going to renege on this message right here. The bosses are unique and they are so much fun. I will agree they are fun, but they're not really unique. Most of them are just giant people with swords. Still fun to fight. Hell, I love this game so much that from time to time, I go back to fight Ishin Sword Saint, who is considered one of the hardest bosses in all of Soulsborne. I do that to either relax or have fun. I don't do that anymore. I just do it for fun because I can't relax anymore. Every time I do, I tense up. I'm like, I'm going to get, All right, we're skipping number 7 because, we deleted it. Number 8, a PS2 classic. Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal. These will be very short. Why the third game in the series? Well, because it expanded upon 1 and 2 in a great way. Ooh, my stomach growled. Sorry. Expanded on the game. You could obviously replay was just, you just played the game on a slightly harder difficulty, which wasn't really that hard. And for reasons like this. Funny story with funny gags. It's fun, it's cool, it's awesome. The weapons are just amazing. Lovable characters, amazing combat, and the game was just so simple and fun. They even had a multiplayer, which me and my friend played, and that was actually a lot of fun. Number 9, Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy. Again, you're probably wondering, not Jak 2 or 3? Why the first one? Well, here you go. You ever played Donkey Kong 64 or Super Mario 64? Well, then there's your reason. It's a basic collectathon with varying landscapes and mini-games with funny gags and characters. Done. Last but not least, number 10, Final Fantasy X. Now, I feel like people were going to watch this and be like, Mother Fudger put Final Fantasy X, not 7 or 8 or 9 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. I never played 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... or anything after. I remember this is a game the guys I used to hang out with on my street would play, and I liked it. I love the turn-based RPG, as evidence as, well, my next game I'll be putting on, as well as I mentioned the game before, Honkai Star Rail. That's a turn-based RPG, in a way. It's also a gacha game. So that triumphs it. Anywho, why do I like this? Well, because when I was a kid, I struggled at it. I sucked. I didn't know how to play. I didn't know the mechanics. I was like, look, guy, sword, swing. Look, guy, ball, throw. Oh, look, girl with big boobies do magic. Oh, well. But when I got the remastered on the PS4, I think it was 2 years ago, I finally beat it, and I was like, oh my god, this game is incredible. Awesome cinematics, as with most Final Fantasy games. Like Ocarina of Time and Kingdom Hearts 2, the the music in general is just incredible. Cool and unique characters with their own fighting styles, long but interesting story, and I just love turn-based strategy games. Now, what is going to be, I'm just going to put it here, I'm not going to put it in description. I played this game last year, and I fell in love with it. Ready? Persona 3, reload. Done. Why? Again, it's an RPG, turn-based, the music is amazing, combat's fun, the characters are funny, the characters are cool and awesome. Of course, they always upgrade the characters and the stories and the weapons and the fighting in the next iteration of the game. I don't care. This is the first Persona I ever beat, and I fell in love with it. Like, hard. Not only that, what got me to play the game was the song Color Your Night. I kept hearing that on my Instagram and TikTok, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen to the song. Fell in love with the song. And I was like, okay, I'm going to look into Persona 3. I watched a couple of videos. I even watched, I think it was Alex Lee, his gameplay video. He brings the fellow cast members to join him through his playthroughs, which he recently just did one with Alejandro Saab, who voices Akihiko, if you didn't know that. And yeah, he streams it, I think. He also does YouTube video to follow up the stream, and the game is just awesome. And with that, I gotta redo.